Hello and welcome to Authentic Conversations with Moji. Yes, Moji Solo Wilson, how are you? It's Tuesday and we are here again. I decided to only speak now when I have something important to say because, sometimes I feel like I'm just speaking to the air. Yes, indeed. While I'm waiting for people to come on, I'm going to read to you some data because you know me, I like data. I like proper information. I like, to be able to back up what I talk about. If I haven't experienced it, I've done some research or I've spoken to somebody and it's heart-wrenching. In the middle of the night last night, I received, I think it was about 2:30 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, I received a WhatsApp voice message, which I posted on my public page. And it came from a young lady that said she worked at a bank, and the bank next to her bank, I'm not saying any names because it's not my place, but if you go to my page, if you scroll down to the page, you'll see where I posted a voice message. And he said that the lady in the voice message said that the hospital next to her, all the staff, the bank next to her, all the staff had tested positive for coronavirus, and the bank manager had died. Last week, an ex-governor died. The week before, somebody else died. 3 weeks ago, somebody else died. And then the Abu Bakari, or whatever his name is, the aide to the Nigerian president, died as well of coronavirus. So remember when I came and I did a show for about a week or a month or something, and I was screaming about the PPEs that were given and was being sold on IG? Do you guys? I'm sure you guys remember that. And we were talking about these things, but hey, people didn't move. They didn't even jump on it. They didn't talk about it because at that point they were being told that coronavirus was not real. Well, it's real. By now we know it's real. Hanging tight. I'll be right back. Make sure you share the video because this is a very, very, very important topic. Hello again and welcome back to Authentic Conversations with Moji. Nobody does it like Moji. I speak power into truth with a very unique voice. Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry, but the truth is going to be what we talk about. I sometimes hurt people's feelings, not on purpose, but because you can't speak in truth and not have people that don't like what you say. The truth is very hard. I didn't get here on my own. I wasn't born with an intact moral compass. It's actually something I'm working on, being a Nigerian citizen. My integrity was a bit on the jacked up side at one point in my life, and I decided to turn myself around. The water that we are weaned with in Nigeria is laced with lies. From day one, we're taught, don't tell this person that so they don't go and waylay you spiritually. The winches are waiting for you in the corner. So most of us do not learn to take accountability for our actions. Look, for Nigeria to change, I've been saying it for over 10 years, we have to change ourselves, because when we as a people are not doing the right things, we'll continue to pick government officials that will enable our lack of integrity, our lack of a good moral compass, our lack of making sacrifices, our lack of wanting to suffer to get from point A to point B. The biggest problem is this instant gratification where you want to do something, but you don't take the time. We don't take the time to do the research and put in our sweat. We continue to rape each other and wonder why the country is the way it is. Let me give you some numbers. There's roughly about 200 million plus Nigerians in Nigeria. China realized that we're a big market and they moved in. Our government already mortgaged to generate the lives and the future generations. They mortgaged it to borrow money from China so they could live La Viva Loca and their children can fly all around the world in private planes. We already know how Nigeria is. We know who Nigerians are. We know how we ourselves are. The money allocated for healthcare in Nigeria was distributed and spent in the wrong places. I cannot tell you where they spent it or how they spent it or even who spent it. But you and I know the truth. We all know the fact. You've been to a public hospital in Nigeria. I was in UCH in Nigeria in 2017. UCH has produced some of the best doctors, running amazing programs and hospitals and healthcare systems all across the world. But yeah, UCH looks like a rundown homeless shelter. UCH was the hospital that emirs and presidents of other African countries came to get treatment. UCH, Saudi people came to UCH for treatment way back then in the 80s. Kings and queens came to UCH in the 80s. Today, their roof is leaking. They have no hospital beds. They have no gloves. They have nothing. When the pandemic came out, I was one of the people that was reached out to, and we generally don't even talk about things that we do. Okay, I was one of the people that was reached out to. There's a popular blogger on Facebook, or vlogger, whatever you want to call her, that reached out to me because or I reached out to somebody, I don't know, people were looking for stuff for PPEs, and that's how we discovered that Jack Ma had given a plane load of PPEs to Nigeria. And the PPEs never made it to the hospitals. The PPE were never given to the doctors that needed it, and a lot of them got ill and they died. The head of UCH became ill, of the COVID section, actually, of the COVID unit that was put together by Oyo State government, became ill as well. The head of the UCH became ill because they had no PPEs, but they still had to do what they took an oath to do. So while we're talking about all of that, why am I even here? Why am I sitting here today? Because again and again and again, it seems like we're so complacent because we ourselves are not willing to make a change. Because we Nigerians are not willing to look in the mirror and say, hey, what can I do to make a change in the world? Something as simple as copying people's work. People's intellectual properties are stolen every day. On social media, they will cut and paste somebody's story, and one of you guys will know that it's this person's work, and you won't stand up and say something. Slippery slope. Slippery slope to the point, and I'll play something for you guys so you can hear it. Slippery slope to the point that Jack Ma sent a whole plane load of PPEs, gloves, ventilators and things like that, and he never made it to the hospitals. See, we're shouting that this thing, coronavirus, is hitting people in high places. Let me tell you something. I talk to the people that are not in high places. I also talk to the people in high places. There are more people, regular Jane Doe and John Doe, that are dying because they're dying, but because we've never told people why people die, we've always just associated it with the witches, or somebody did something, or somebody threw a stone in the Yoruba culture. We're always talking about, oh, in your Sokutalu, somebody threw a stone at them. That's why they're ill, which means somebody did voodoo to them. So we don't know the numbers. I was saying for weeks, look, the number that the NCDC is putting out is not right. It's not right. It's not right. Well, Nigerians, you're in trouble. You're in huge troubles. You're roaming the streets like there's no coronavirus out there. America is paying the price for their foolishness. And they have hospitals. They have the best Nigerian doctors in America. I'm sorry, I'm smiling. But imagine if Nigeria, that does not have good hospitals, good equipment, nothing, is going to go through what America, that has everything and has the money and has spent the money in the proper places, is going through hell at the moment. In Houston, 1 out of every 4 homes, and you can Google this is a fact, has tested positive for coronavirus. Now, let me ask you, how many Nigerians can afford to pay 37,000 naira for one test? That's how much it costs here. Is $100 and about 80 and up, depending on where you go. How many Nigerians can pay for that? There's no health insurance in Nigeria. There's no hospital beds in Nigeria. They actually took all the money that was donated and built tents. Tents. They were decorating tents all over Nigeria. A woman was paid $1 billion, 1 billion to decorate tents in places where there were no cases of coronavirus. A pastor's wife was given 1 billion. I didn't say million, I said billion naira It's public information. It's out there. See, when they said ignorance is bliss, I'm telling you, I'm one of those that I should have just known. Ignorance is bliss. The more you know, the more problem you have. Because I look around me half the time and I think I'm crazy. Because how can I see the things that people don't see? How can I be the only one talking about these issues when everybody else is going through what I'm going through? But when people lack integrity, that's what happens. Too many people lack integrity. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want people to know. You don't want people to see you. You don't want. But yet you want everything that everybody that has worked for it. You want what they have. Listen to this.
An ordinary face man. Go hard. Recently, one of my friends lost her elder sister because of delayed response. There was no health center in that community, no ambulance services. If there were to be quick emergency response, lives would have been saved.
For this year, 7 billion naira was allocated to purchase health and medical equipment for the entire country.
7 billion.
Meanwhile, 4 billion naira was set aside to fix office buildings for the state houses in Abuja alone. While underfunding healthcare is a challenge, handling the funds is another.
Every health facility has a budget. My organization went on a community outreach to a village in Oyo State. This facility was built through one of the funds from the MDG project and all of those things. But that center is occupied by groups.
Hospitals are built with the money that is allocated, but they don't finish it. They start the foundation. I got an inbox early this morning, because we keep saying Nigeria is in trouble, Nigeria is in trouble, and nobody's listening. Nobody's listening because nobody wants to examine themselves. Nobody wants to look at this problem that we have amongst ourselves called integrity. Nobody. A lot of you guys are sitting there on your hands. When you see your friends making the wrong turn, you don't talk to them. When you see your friends stealing other people's properties, you don't talk to them. You're too busy you want something everybody does not want. I've been an LGBTQ activist for, not even activist, I've just been living my life talking about LGBTQ issues for many, many years, sitting here, stones in the rain, in the sunshine every day for the past 10 years, pelted at. Now that it's becoming cool to be gay, people are now coming up out of the woodworks, and somebody just stole the name of my show, and she's about to do a show like that. After being friendly and kind and sweet and all this stuff, this is one of the reasons why I stay away from Nigerian people. I only hang out with what I call Nigerians. Nigerians are people that have integrity, that have kuth, that have a spiritual walk. Nigerians are not Christians, not all Christians, because when you look under their cloth, they're shouting Bible, Holy Bible. They want to smack us on the face with the Bible, but they're the very people that are creating the problems in Nigeria. They're the ones raping young girls. They're this heterosexual and whatever. It's a Nigerian problem. It's not, integrity is a Nigerian problem. It's not just one section of the people. That's why when people start shouting this one, that one, I stay in the middle, because I need to live on facts. I can no longer live on ifs and what ifs. I deal with people the way they deal with me, not the way they've dealt with other people. Somebody can say you're an axe murderer, and I'll still talk to you. Because maybe that person triggered something in you that made you kill them. As long as I know you're an axe murderer, I know exactly how to deal with you. Problem is that most Nigerians are fake. I said so. Yes, you can say I wear wigs, so I'm fake too. Again, I'm a Nigerian. It took me a long time to fix my moral compass, because I was not born with a solid moral compass. There's no way you're a Nigerian and you're born with a solid moral compass. We don't respect each other. We don't respect each other's walk. We don't even care. Most people only care about themselves. Let me play the one that killed me today. The one that really, really got me this morning is this one.
Everyone, I hope people are all doing well. Please, I'm begging everyone. If you don't have any business to do in the bank, stay in your homes. In fact, e-channels are working very well. Okay, let me just say it. The Access Bank branch in Onne. When you come into Onne, Tina will understand. You see, the first bank you see is Fidelity. Then you see Fidelity, you see First. You see Sterling. You see Union.
Hold on, I'm going to fast forward this a bit.
Then you see Diamond. Then you see Zenith. So Diamond Bank is just big. And CDC has seen Diamond Bank. Everybody there was tested positive. In fact, the branch manager died. He's dead. They've just, NCDC is there. I couldn't take pictures because there are plenty police vans there before they will come bundle me. So we just stepped out to go and see what's happening. There are plenty police vans there. The bank has been sealed. Everybody has been taken to the isolation center. The branch manager has died. So we're even praying that we will just shut down this on air so that because in fact, all the customers that have accounts with Diamond Bank have accounts with us. So we have just been scared because, so we're even praying that this news, of course, we will get to know and seal up the whole of on air, shut down on air for 2 weeks so that, because in fact, it's not funny. Everybody's shivering. Everybody's shivering. It's not funny. So please, ladies, sisters, if you don't have anything to do in the bank, now they are doing contact tracing for the customers that were there last week. If you don't have anything to do in the bank, stay at home. If you don't have anything to do outside, don't go anywhere. Stay in your homes. In fact, this thing is getting more serious than we actually thought. It's not funny anymore. It's crazy. In fact, this whole road now, people are just stopping to see. Everywhere has been sealed. The ambulance, they brought an ambulance. The ambulance just took some people away. Police everywhere. Everybody has been taken to the isolation center. Gatesmen, what are they called now? Cleaners, everybody. Please, everybody stay safe. Do your own bit. Let God do his own, please.
All right. So see, again, when we go to God and we ask God to do something, we have to understand that God moves when we move. God moves when we move. Nigerians are going to die in droves. They are already dying. About 2 months ago, I posted something because I get information from I don't know where. People just like to send me information before it hits the public press. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm a human being that just wants good for most people. So I get a lot of info. 2 or 3 months ago, I came up and I said, people are dying in Kano and we don't know why. Nobody's doing autopsies because most people in Kano are what? They are Muslims, which means by their religious rights, they have to be buried the very next day. So there's no autopsies being done. There's nothing happening, but people are dying in high alarming numbers. And people didn't say anything. Then the people from the north started moving to Lagos. They started moving to Ibadan. They started moving to the west to avoid all this coronavirus stuff. But here's the problem. See, if Nigerians had integrity, Nigerians, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, because most Nigerians, 90% of Nigerians, as far as I'm concerned, don't have integrity. If we had integrity, we would have demanded for the right people to come in, but you sold your what? You sold your votes. And then you want to blame the government. 5,000 naira and a bag of rice is costing us a lot of lives. When the president, Buhari, gets sick, he gets on a plane and he goes to the UK for a headache. He goes to the UK for ear infection. Everybody goes to the UK. But did you guys know that the same doctors that left Nigeria because they were not being paid their salaries, the same doctors that left Nigeria because there are no gloves in the hospital, the same doctors that left Nigeria because they couldn't feed their own children, even though they went to school for many, many years to become doctors, are the same ones that they're going to see? Because when you get to the best hospitals here, guess who you see? The best doctors from Nigeria. When you get to the best hospitals in the UK, it's the same thing. Ireland, Dubai, everywhere. And those governments are willing to pay whatever it takes to bring Nigerian doctors because they know that Nigerian doctors are super fantabulous at what they do. It's so heart-wrenching when you look around and we sit here and we all pass judgments on everybody. All of us. We forget to look at what we are doing that contributes to the state of the country. I've been shouting for many years, LGBTQ Nigerians, you want to respect? Stop sleeping around like dogs. Stop shagging every goddamn thing. Stop posing naked on social media like that's all that is to you. Problem is that most of these people don't have anything else but gay. Ask them, what are you? I'm gay. That's all they talk about. They have no receipts. They have nothing. Most of the people that I mentor will tell you, if you don't have anything doing, I'm going to make sure that you have something doing so that when you pull out your dossier or your resume or your CV, it's not just going to say gay. You should not be popular because you're gay. Heterosexuals are not popular because they're gay. Heterosexuals are popular or they're successful not because they're gay. Your toto is not what you should be using to make money. Your toto is not what you should be using to buy class. Your toto is not what you should be using to front on social media where you're living in your face-to-face pretending like you got it like that. You got to bring something more to the table. I became public enemy number one in the Nigerian LGBTQ community, and I'm okay with it. Because look, it takes a lot to stand by ourselves. When you and I start speaking up, when we see jagbajantis going on, Nigeria will change. When you see somebody that runs the red light and you say something, Nigeria will change. When you see somebody that's cheating their neighbor, and you say something, Nigeria will change. Eventually, Africa will change. A lot is going on in Nigeria. A lot is going on all over the world among the Nigerian community. And it's disgraceful. It's disgusting. I'm not a saint. Trust me, my mouth is sharper than a razor sometimes. I watch what I say now, because in the beginning, I never dealt with Nigerians. I dealt with normal people. People that had common sense. People that even think about other people, that had compassion. Nigerians are they're at the point now, they've seen so much death and so much pain, and so they're so immune to everybody else's pain. All they want is instant gratification. I want to be rich today, and I'm going to be rich today, and I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to take what belongs to you. What you've worked for all your life, I'm going to take it away from you. This is 2020. How do we think Nigeria will change? How do we think things will change? We talk about integrity. How much integrity do you have when you're watching, when 200,000 of you guys belong to a group called Rant? 1 million plus, where people are shredded, abused, single mothers are abused, single women are abused, gay people are abused, widows are abused, including the owner, God, she's abused. She's shredded every day. 1 million plus people belong to that. Yeah, when we're talking about something educational, you guys don't want to hear it. Even when they're giving it to you for free, you still don't want to hear it, because it means that you have to look at yourself. For any kind of authentic transformation to happen, you have to look at your moral compass. I've been sitting here doing authentic conversations with Moji for over a year. Somebody in my own camp went and started a conversation with Kinikon. It's the same person that was on her show yesterday. I spoke on her show, on her thing yesterday. She just changed her name. I showed to Conversations. Like, really? At least if you're going to do something like that, you pick up the phone. Most people with ethics, most people that has a moral compass that's not broken will pick up the phone and say, hey, Moji, this is what I'm doing. And then that's that. But we don't have morals. We don't have integrity. We collect bribes. You can't get into anything. When I was looking to fix a school with Kunle Oye and a whole bunch of people that we came together and created a group, and we're trying to fix a school in Nigeria, from the Board of Education, they wanted bribes. The principal of the school wanted a bribe, wanted me to buy him a laptop, so we can come there and use our own money to fix the school that he's the principal of. I walked. Nigeria will hail thee. When you can't even call a school and say, hey, Oga, I'm going to be fixing your school, and you can't call the Department of Education and say, hey, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. And everybody from the top to the bottom wants a bribe. When the only way to pass university is by sleeping your way through it or buying your way into the university, how is Nigeria going to succeed? It's not that we don't have money. We have a lot of money. We have natural resources. We have cocoa. We have rice. We have this. We even have semi-precious stones. But we lack integrity. So we continue to sell our souls. I don't expect people to come on this show, because if you come on this show, you're going to have to look at yourself. See, I've always said it's quantity. I don't do quantity. I do quality. My life, I deleted 5. I had 5,000 people. I deleted 3,000 people off of my Facebook page. I'm not looking for numbers. I don't make money from this, and I'm not bluffing. I don't make a penny from this show. If anything at all, it costs me money. Costs me and my wife money. But when you're trying to change the system, you're going to have to put your neck out sometimes. People don't like to hear the truth. You can't be on my page if you don't like to hear the truth. It's sad. 40,000 Nigerians are doctors. 40,000. There's 200 million plus Nigerians in Nigeria. Do the math. There's like one doctor to every 40,000 or something. One doctor. You go to a village, you have to drive 7 miles, sometimes 30 miles to get to one single clinic. And then you have to worry that the clinic is owned by a mechanic who's pretending to be a doctor. Last week, there was a story that broke about a woman that's been doing surgery, plastic surgery on women since 2018. The girl, I say girl, because she graduated from the University of Lagos. We all know that when you graduate from University of Lagos, pre-med, they give you a certificate that says, yes, you're now a doctor. All over the world, once you get a certificate that says you're now a doctor, it generally means you can do general practice. It doesn't mean that you can go and cut people. You can't even be an eye specialist. To become a specialist, you have to go and do your youth corps first. That's 1 year. Then you have to do your internship. That's another year. Then you have to do a fellowship. That's probably like 2 or 3 years. You're talking this woman skipped 7 years. And she opened up a plastic surgery clinic. People have died. People have fat moved from their stomach and put in their ass. People had fat moved from their stomach and put in their chest when it's supposed to be silicone. People are dying. But our people don't like to talk. This Wakapa system that we have is why people are going to die in hundreds of thousands. Because if America has 1.7 million, 100 and something thousand COVID cases over the weekend, I repeat, over the weekend, and you know me, I'm good with data, I'm going to post it. In Houston alone, one single town, 1 out of every 4 homes, 1 out of every 4 homes tested positive. Somebody in 1 out of every 4 homes tested positive. In America, they test about what? How much? They test about roughly about $80. So I'm going to round it off to $100, which is like 37,000 naira. How many people have 37,000 naira to go and get tested in Nigeria? The government got millions, billions. People were giving them billions and billions. Did you guys ask them what they did with the money? Out of the billions they got, they paid the woman that died a few weeks ago. God forgive me. I'm not knocking whatever. I don't know her story. But they paid a party planner. They paid a party planner 1 billion. 1 billion to decorate COVID hospitals when they claimed this is when there was only 500 cases of COVID in Nigeria. They paid a pastor's wife who is a party planner 1 billion. 1 billion naira. I repeat, billion, not million. Billion naira. $1 billion, my people, to go and decorate COVID hospitals that were not really hospitals because they didn't build the buildings. They built tents in Lagos. Tents. We have hospitals. They could have used that money, 1 billion. Take that 1 billion and take it to UCH. Ajimobi got sick. They had to take him to Lagos. They took him all the way to Lagos. They had no medication because they never took care of the pharmaceutical issues in Nigeria. They had taken all the money and taken bribes. So the Indians allegedly could bring in fake drugs. So the Chinese people could bring in fake drugs. Allegedly, Ajimobi's family got a private plane to take him to Lagos. From Lagos, they found out that the medication they wanted is available in Malaysia. They put the guy, they sent the guy with 50 million naira to Malaysia to go and buy drug. You see how karma works. Me, I believe in karma. That's why I live my life the way I do now. Karma is a bitch, but only to bitches. Ajimobi allegedly sent his person with 50 million naira to go and buy medication for COVID. But because Ajimobi and his crew never got together and put the pharmaceutical industry in order in Nigeria, they kept allowing fake drugs. Karma came to bite. The medication they bought and brought back on their private plane was fake. Fake. All the time I was on Twitter saying, look, they just found COVID here, they found COVID there, and the Twitter generation were abusing me. I quickly left Twitter. I figured I could reach them faster on Twitter. But they were abusing me. They told one of them called me Auntie Agbaya, Auntie Moji, you're looking for relevance. I'm like, me looking for relevance. Let me tell you, I can buy you, your father, your mother, and 3 generations deep. No be joke, because now American dollars I they spend. 3,000 makes me a millionaire in Nigeria. Hey, my friend. So I left them alone. I remember somebody had inboxed me. One of my friends that's a doctor had inboxed me and said, Moji, they just did COVID testing in a particular area in Nigeria. And I was one of the doctors. Okay. I was one of the doctors. And let me tell you, they're telling people that they only found 20. There's 20 cases out of every 100. I posted that on Twitter. They came after me. I said, okay, let me go. Me, I don't do Twitter generation. And the reason Twitter generations are Twitter generation, Twitter only allows you but so many characters, so they cannot even write. Those kids are savage. No problem. That one went by. We're sitting there talking about the PPEs for the doctors, the PPEs for the medical people, the PPEs, the nurses. You heard the recording of a nurse who says they don't have gloves. They don't have anything. When my nephew broke his leg last year or the year before. Yeah, last year. We had to buy iodine. We had to buy gloves. We had to buy the needle to suture him. We had to buy the medication. We had to buy the injection to give the medication. And then we had to pay the hospital 10,000 naira a day just for the bed. And we had to pay, by the time it was done, the bill was 1.4 million naira. 1.4 million naira we spent on a leg that's broken. Imagine if somebody has COVID. In America, if you spend 7 days in the hospital with being intubated and you're in ICU, it's going to run about $1 million. Dollars. Not naira, dollars. Now imagine Baba Shukra, who thinks he's home and has malaria. Imagine Baba Temedu, who's just minding his own business, trying to make a living, that's at the market because there's no social services, that has to go to the farm to cut down the sugar cane. That's only about 400-500 naira a day that he makes. Or let's even take Shade, that's selling water, pure water, because that little 300 naira she's going to make that day is what they're going to use to buy their food from the buka that day. And she's walking around selling these things to people, touching money without antibacterial, touching money. People are laughing in her face. People are coughing in that child's face, 9-10-year-old. She takes that coronavirus that she's taking because she could be asymptomatic. She might not have symptoms of it, but she's a carrier, and she takes it home to her father, who has maybe 10 wives, who has maybe 26 children, a whole goddamn village. Well, has it. According to statistics, Black people are dying more than white people. So now this is not a Black Lives Matter issue, right? Because if Black Lives Matter, I'm one of those, I'm the first to say it. If Black Lives Matter, does it really matter to Black people? If Black Lives Matter, why don't we have integrity? Why don't we ever do the right thing by each other? Why don't we try and look in the mirror and say, what can I change about myself? Authentic transformations are hard. To transform a country like Nigeria, we have to start one person at a time. When I met my wife, I was running around trying to fix Nigeria, trying to fix everybody, giving this person money, giving that person money. Half of them did not need it. They'll be on Facebook showing stuff, flashing their wealth. In the meantime, they're in my inbox begging for money. And I'll be giving it. So now that I'm no longer everybody's tap of water fountain, because me too, I need to be healthy. Because I'm running around helter-skelter, working 10 hours a day while most people are chilling. And then Auntie Moji becomes Agbaya. And Auntie Moji becomes a bad person because she believes you should be educated and you should do something for yourself. College of YouTube is free. Anything you're looking for, you can find. Of course, there's a lot of things you'll find on the same subject, so you have to figure out, you have to be able to do research. You have to be able to go and Google. You have to be able to read different literature on the same topic to be able to come to the right conclusions. A lot of us are too lazy. There's a saying that I heard years ago where they said, if you don't want Black people to find something out, put it in a book. Let me tell you, until we change ourselves, folks, if we don't find integrity, when I did classes for to become a leader, right? when I was working at Century 21 and you start doing well, when I became, I think, Centurion before I even became number one, part of the things that we were taught is that integrity is number one. Yeah, integrity is number one to be a good leader. Integrity. When you go into Buddhism, it's the same thing. It's all about integrity. Kia, I had to start reversing because Nigeria did not teach me integrity. Nigeria, where I was 12 years old and my father made a phone call and my driver's license came. I was 12. 12. Seriously. How? Think about it. There's nothing you can't buy in Nigeria. Yet, you can run somebody over in Nigeria and you pay the right people. The case will be in court till you die. Or they die. There's no integrity. Without integrity, Nigeria is not going anywhere. And integrity starts from me and you. Integrity starts from everybody's daily activities, from the way we talk to each other, from the way we, don't give up on Nigeria, we got to do better, from the way we band together. Olu says, if you're a honest person, if you're honest, people look at you as if you're crazy. A lot of our churches are corrupt too. Honestly, honesty does not seem to be in our dictionary. No, it's not. Integrity is not in our dictionary. Honesty is not in our dictionary. And most people are cowards. Most people are cowards because they won't speak in truth. See, when this thing happened to me today, when I saw this thing today, I inboxed somebody that I respect in the LGBTQ community and I sent him the thing. And I said, look, your friend is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Shuku to everybody that wants to do a show. I want more people to do a show. But don't steal my intellectual property. Don't use the name of my show to do your show. You can come tell her whatever. Of course, they didn't do anything. They didn't say anything because lack of transparency and lack of integrity. I'm not saying the person I called has no integrity. I'm saying people just don't have. A lot of Nigerians don't have integrity, and we don't have the courage to speak in truth. They will always tell you when somebody upset you. They'll tell you, "Oh, leave it. Oh, leave it." Or tell the mother with his foot on my toe to get off my toe. Don't tell me sorry, don't worry, and God forbid that person is older than you. They'll be like, "Oh, he's older than you, so you can't say something." You mean age? Age is now the reason why somebody should put their knee on my neck. See, we Nigerians are very, very quick to start jumping up and down about human rights and all this and all that. But let's look at ourselves. Do we really believe in human rights? Do we? Do we believe in human rights? When we all sat around in 2014 and allowed 10% of the country to be called criminals, to be deemed criminals because we're LGBTQ, do we believe in human rights? All your Nigerian knees has been on our necks for many years. You lack integrity. Sue me. Sue me. The lady, I forget her name, I'm going to post her story under this as a comment. She got the contract to set up all the COVID marquee. Yep, in the country. One day, I didn't even know the name of 1 billion one day. 1 billion. And nobody could think, nobody in that office could say, well, these people, Alakija donated, I think they said about 15 million. Dangote donated. By the time they finished adding, and they were the ones telling us what was donated. By the time they were added, those things were added, it was 50 billion. 50 billion was donated to Nigeria for COVID purposes. They gave one woman a contract to decorate the COVID marquee in the country. I don't know the name of the place. Well, one day says it's COVID marquee. How do you use 1 billion to decorate 1 billion? When hospitals are in Nigeria, nurses are calling Moji saying we don't have gloves. Doctors are calling saying we don't have PPE. Doctors are saying we don't have masks, we don't have gloves, but they paid a Nigerian pastor's wife 1 billion to go and decorate COVID hospitals when they don't have injections, they don't have PPEs, they don't have masks, they don't have gloves, they don't have anything. They don't even have goddamn medications in these hospitals. But a pastor's wife was paid 1 billion, was given a contract of 1 billion because 50 billion was donated and they all shared it amongst each other. Nigerians don't scream because anything that has to do with Jesus Christ must be right. If I today with my gay self start preaching and I start calling the name of God, I will get more audience because I'm saying in the name of Jesus, God will give you money you don't want. No, Moji is saying you have to go to work and then God will give you what you need. Pastors will tell you, stay home, you'll get a job. Moji is preaching. Because me too, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher. I just don't say the things people want to hear. I'm not the one that's going to tell you, stay home, God will give you a job you don't deserve. I'm the one that will tell you, God will give you the job, but you got to meet him halfway. You got to come correct. You got to get an education. Nigerians don't like that. We like hocus pocus. That's why people are killing each other and getting dead bodies. Okay? We're killing each other and using body parts to go and do voodoo in Nigeria. Really? But let's really think about this. The Babala will tell somebody to go and bring something for voodoo, and then they catch you with a dead body. Shouldn't that tell the other people that this doesn't work? Shortcuts, lack of integrity. If people work, there's a video that's going around right now. I'll post it where somebody, I forget his name, had talked about how Nigeria is the biggest gold mine, how a lot of companies are coming into Nigeria, how the Chinese are coming to, he said invest, I say rape. Mark Zuckerberg went into Nigeria and built one of the largest offices in Nigeria. Bill Gates went to Nigeria because they all see the potentials in Nigeria. All these people are being allowed to come into our country and rape our country by the government. But people in the high places are not speaking because they're eating from this. People are not speaking because when the government gets 300 and something billion dollars in a loan from China, when the contract goes out, it goes out to the 1%, not the 99%. So as long as the money is trickling out down to the 5% don't complain. But the people, majority of Nigerians are suffering because we all lack integrity. I don't like Showore one bit. And I don't like him because of him, not because of his politics. I don't like him. I like the idea of Showore. Let me rephrase that. I liked him a lot when he was with Sahara Reporters and he was doing this investigative reporting, and he had integrity. I stopped liking him when he left his purpose. Because you see how I sit here with 11 people watching my show? I know this is my purpose, because if it's only one person that's changed, I'm good. Because that one person hopefully will go and change one person. I'm not the one for entertainment. I'm not the one for gossip. That's not my purpose. When Showore left his purpose of changing the mindset of Nigeria and became tabloid and started chasing people like Femi Famni Kayode, and then he started to run for office because he wanted to be rich and famous, I lost respect for him. The Showore that I knew way back, or knew of, because I don't know him personally, was the one that would fight for human rights. When we reached out to him and tried to talk about LGBTQ rights, and he just, women's, I lost respect for him. But his mission to change Nigeria, shuku to him for it. That man put his neck out because Nigerians said, oh, go, we'll be back behind you. When he put his neck into the noose, Nigerians pulled away. We like to use the head of other people to break the coconut. We like to use the head of other people to break the coconut. We don't like to suffer for anything. We don't like to work for anything. A lot of people don't like to think for themselves. You see why I keep evolving and changing? I'll do something today and I'm 55 years old. I'm only living my life and having fun. My kids are all grown. There's one left in the house. He's about to go to university next year. It's just going to be me, my wife, and our dog. So I live my life to please the universe and to do what sits well with my soul. And if I sit in this chair and I lie to people and I bullshit and, just so I can make $1, see, my throat is not big. I'm not one of those. The only thing I enjoy is traveling and doing things that I like to do with my hands. If I have to sell my soul to get my message across, I'm not doing it. If I have to sell my soul to be able to get a show, your purpose, your reason or intent might be right, but the way you go about it, you can't steal somebody's scalpel that their need for their life to go and operate on somebody to save their life, you're still a thief. You can't take the oxygen off my face as I'm using my own oxygen to go and put on somebody else's face. You still stole my oxygen. So even if your intent is right and you still went about it the wrong way, you're still wrong. But until we all start to look at ourselves, what am I doing wrong? Am I kissing ass? Am I not speaking up in the right places? Am I going along to be popular? Am I jumping up and down Facebook pretending like my life is super fantastic? Am I doing that? Because when you do all those things, when you lie and you cheat and you do this and you do that, it's bad karma. It's going to come back and bite you in the face. It might not be today, because the same people that were clapping for you today are the ones, trust me, I've been there. They're the very ones that will turn into the hyenas that will tear your flesh up. Nigerians, una lack integrity. Until una go find your integrity wherever you flush them, wherever you sold it, wherever you put it, I assure you it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. When you can't speak up against the government because you gone self. You're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your husband. If you're a lesbian, you're cheating on your wife. Half of the gay community, they all have married. They're married to men, or they're married to women, or they're cheating on the side with their boy, or they're cheating with another girl on the side. But they are the first people to come on social media and talk shit about how their life is wonderful and how they blah, 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 blah. We lack integrity. And the one that hurts me the most, it's not even the person that steals. It's a person watching them steal that don't say nothing. It's a person that, look, you are just as guilty as the man that ran somebody over and he ran off. Because you that stood there and witnessed the event and you did not say anything, you are just as guilty. So when we talk about transformation of Nigeria, I often ask people, where or how do you think it's going to happen? One thing I know from studying my people, including myself actually from my walk, is that until we start to change ourselves and the way we think and the things we do, it's not going anywhere. We're not going to go anywhere. We're so quick at jumping and pointing fingers at everybody. We laugh at the most ridiculous things we should be crying about, we're laughing about. Things we should be crying about, we're laughing about. People with integrity do not get nominated or put into the asshole. I call it asshole rock, but whatever it's called, AH. They don't put them in there. We don't put people in government that will make a change, because if we make a change, if we put the right people in government that will make a change, guess what? It means we have to make a change. It means now we have to do things the right way. It means that we, Nigerians, have to stand up in line. It means we have to now get proper education, not sleep. Hey, I could tell you stories I've heard about Nigerian schools. Not sleep your way through school. It means you have to really study. It means you have to really study. And your parents can no longer buy you that certificate, that A1 distinctive. You can't get it. Before JAM comes out, people's children, they already bought the questionnaires for them. And we're blaming the government. We are blaming the government. For you guys that don't know Shina Fagbenro-Byron, Shina Fagbenro-Byron ran for presidency in this very last election, and I interviewed him as well. So thank you for coming on here, Shina. Shina Fagbenro-Byron says people have to mentally process the word integrity. Damn, that's deep. Nigerian people have native languages that they think with and deploy to process understanding. What is integrity in our respective languages? I have no idea. In Yoruba, for instance, integrity is a derivative word of omoluabi. Thank you. I never knew that. Hence, a Yoruba Nigerian who was taught and embraced omoluabi as an ethos will live by integrity. I believe the answer to your question lies in our Nigerians owning the meaning and spirit of the English word integrity. Shuku to you. I honestly believe that as well. And I'm glad that you brought the culture part up, because I grew up in Nigeria I was in Nigeria till the early 80s, very early. I think we just jumped into 1980 when my father woke me up and said, he never even told me I was going anywhere. He just woke me up and said, oh, pack up your bag, you're going to the US. And I'm like, US? I thought we're going to America. I mean, we're going to the UK. But integrity was one of those things that was very big in the olden days among the elders before this new world came in. That's why I call it Nigeria. Integrity is why the farmers had cooperatives where they had exchanged things by barter. Integrity is why, you know, a man would have 10 wives and the women will take turns watching the children. That's integrity. Integrity is why if you see your brother's sister that needs money for education, you paid it. Integrity, people with integrity cannot survive in Nigeria anymore. It just doesn't work that way. People with integrity cannot survive, because if you have integrity and you don't believe in bribing people for things that you know you qualify for, then you're not going to get a job. If you have integrity and you believe that you can do the best job for the best price, you're not going to get the contract if you don't want to bribe the person. Or if you're a woman, because of misogyny and patriarchy in our culture, if you're a woman, you're not getting the job unless you sleep with somebody. And if you have integrity, you're not getting the job either. That's why a lot of doctors left Nigeria, because they have integrity. Doctors, business people, computer specialists, most people that have integrity cannot survive in Nigeria, or they don't make it to their potential. Most people with integrity they don't self-actualize. People like Shina Fagbero Byron that wanted to be a president, you know, he's already accomplished in his industry. He could live anywhere in the world he wanted to live in, but he believed that he could change the narrative of Nigeria. Of course, it's not going to happen, because when these policies are being put in place, we all have to adhere by it. Wait, how are we going to do that when we don't even stop at a red light? How are we going to do that? How are we going to follow rules and regulations when nobody has ever had to? How are you going to do that when Chino gets in and he says everybody has to queue on the line at the airport? How is that going to happen when, Dangote's son is just going to be whisking, even the Dangote's maid, Papa, is going to be whisking before me? That's number one online. We have to start asking ourselves, why is Nigeria the way it is? We're all pointing fingers on social media. We're all jumping up and down on social media and pointing fingers and talking about this. You talk about the bloggers. I'm going to ask you, who's the consumer for the bloggers? You are. Why do you think bloggers make up stories and cut and paste stories? Because you guys share them. Because you read them. Because you read them. Not only do you read them, now you're going to share it to make yourself look popular, even though you never double checked. You never verified the story. I remember when my wife and I got married, there was pictures all over the world on Nigerian blogs and newspapers and things like that. One person said, I married my best friend who happens to be in Iran. Then they came up with their own story of what my life was, not even interviewing me. I respect the bloggers that call me and say, Moji, I want to interview you. Sometimes I give an interview, sometimes I don't. I hate people that cut and paste because they lack integrity. They don't verify a story, they just run off with it. But yet we want Nigerians to change. Nigeria can't change when we are not changing. Nigerians can't change when we, I repeat, are not changing. Femi Babalola, thank you for joining us. Femi Babalola says systematic corruption has to do with a situation where corruption has been institutionalized, just like racism in America. Corruption has been institutionalized in Nigeria and catapulted, raised to the level of a structural parameter. And you Nigerians are your big English word, I love it. Thus, it has become part of the value system of a society. That is to say, a condition par excellence. It could be asserted that from the strategic corruption of the cement Amanda to the megatonic corruption of the Second Republic, we have consciously or unconsciously created systematic corruption in the country, and the trend has continued through. Shuku to you. You must be a doctor because you just gave us a diagnosis, Musa. See, when Glo came to Nigeria and they were going to set up phone lines, cell phones, and I know this because I was hanging out with a bunch of people and the lawyer for Glo, the lawyer of acquisition for Glo in those days, right? He was a very good friend of mine. I met him through another friend. We were just friends, nothing else. But when Glow came to Nigeria, Glow approached the Ministry of Communication or whatever they call themselves and said, hey, look, there's this new phenomenon going on in the world. It's called the cell phone, and I'm just paraphrasing. I wasn't there, but this is the story that was narrated to me. And, you know, then the government would not sign off on the documents. The guy's like, look, I can do this thing for less than 30 naira a month because this is Africa. Labor is cheap. The land is there. We don't need much. We just need poles. I can do this thing and everybody will have access to a phone. My friend, that's the lawyer of accusation, global, as in African, all over Africa, for this Glow company, Glow, GLO, told me point blank that when people in government, in high places, started to lay down how much money they wanted in bribes, for them to do business in Nigeria, they had to pay the bribes. That's why your cell phone minutes are so high. That's why your cell phone minutes are so high. Same thing for Asitalat, same thing for everybody else that you use. Now it's getting better because they have a lot more competition. Now it's getting better because they have a lot more competition. But way back then, that's what happened. When pharmaceutical companies are looking to do tests in Nigeria, your health department gets paid for a village in Nigeria to be used, villagers in a particular section of Nigeria to be used where they're illiterates. I can't tell you the name because then you'll know exactly who told me. Integrity, people. Integrity is what we lack. If we all start to find our moral compass, I'm telling you, if we all start to find our moral compass, things will be better. Speak for yourself, Olu. I'm not one of those. Okay? I'm not. Part of the problem is paying extra. I refuse to pay extra. I can go to Nigeria every other day if I choose to pay extra. Because I'm gay and I'm married to my wife. All those Nigerians that you see that are gay, that are married and public, they go to Nigeria and they bribe people. I refuse to do that. It's not that I don't have the money. It's called integrity. So I'm in exile. Every time I start talking about stuff, Olu, you always come on and say we are all guilty. Yeah, we're all guilty to a point. But now we know better. So now that we're talking about it, you guys need to start doing the right things because that's the only way Nigeria will change. I'm sorry, I have to, you know me, I'm very straight up. Until we all start changing, all this paying extra is part of the problem. Femi Balola says, considering the current political situation in Nigeria, only two options remains for us to stay together as a country. Either restructuring to operate the regional parliamentary system, confederation, or federalism. I don't know about federalism, or each nation must be allowed to peacefully from its own independent political entity. I think that's form. Any politician who is campaigning otherwise should never be considered a true representative of his or her own people and must not be taken seriously. Chemically speaking, there should be a limit. Let me just say something. I'm going to answer that for a second and I'll tell you why this is important. Personally, I don't believe that Nigeria should separate. I have a friend, Okono Basu, who's Igbo, and he's one of those Biafra guys, and we're still friends. I don't believe Nigeria should separate. I believe that Nigeria should be together. I believe that Nigeria has to acknowledge what they did, like what the Germans did with the Jews. We have to acknowledge what we did to the Western world, the Western part of Nigeria did to the Eastern part. Apologize. If there's restitution, make it. But we cannot expect Nigeria to be one when we still treat people like second and third class citizens. We're sitting in the United States. A lot of Nigerians are in the United States shouting, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, but we're all still talking about separating and separation. We need to create a better government. But before we even get to the better government, we need our people to find their moral compass. We need our people to repair their integrity, to find it wherever you flushed it down the toilet. We need people to start speaking up in truth and doing the right things. Nobody does the right things 100% of the time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm holier than thou. Hey, but at least we can try. We can become conscious of what we do, what we say, how we say, when we say, and what we are doing. We can't continue to think about, most Nigerians have this mentality of me, myself, and I. And that's the biggest problem. We want what everybody else has, but we don't want to work for it. You want what Moji has, but you don't want to pay the price. You don't want to do the work. You don't want to be seen as crazy, but you want Moji's life. You want Femi Babalola's life, not understanding how Femi got where he got. You want the life of, what's that guy's name? Hush Puppy or Hush Animal, whatever his name is. People, 1 million people follow Hush Puppy that has never shown him receipts. You don't know what he does for work. You don't know what he did. You don't know if he's a murderer. You don't know anything about this man. But 1 million Nigerians followed him. And they want to be like him. When we have doctors that are making history all over the world, when we have people, I just found a Nigerian girl that has 6.6 grade point average in high school. I never even knew you could do that. I've heard of 4.5, I heard of 6.6. You don't hear those stories. We don't share good news. We don't share information with each other. See, the government is one thing. Because if you have integrity, then you will treat your brother, your Igbo brother, right. You will treat your Yoruba brother right. You will treat your Hausa brother right, or sister. If you have integrity, it wouldn't matter if I'm a woman. You would give me the job because I qualify for the job. If you have integrity, you won't ask somebody to sleep with you to give them a job. If you have integrity, you won't run the red light because you can pay. If you have integrity, you will demand that the doctors and the nurses be paid so they stop leaving Nigeria. If you had integrity, you would demand for the teachers to get their salary so your children or the children of the poor that can't afford to pay for private school can become educated. So they stop waiting on the street side to clunk you on the head to steal your cars. If you had integrity, you will tell the government, the politicians, when they come into your neighborhood with 5,000 naira and a bag of rice, no, thank you. We're not willing to pay to sell the next 4 years to you for 5,000, not even for 1 million naira. If Nigerians had integrity, the government that's in there today will not be there today. Integrity is the reason why a lot of Nigerians are going to die. Because not only because of the politicians that stole the money. No, not that. Not because of the politicians that stole the money, but because of all of you that stood around and watched them steal the money. And because of all of you who partake in the loot. Yeah, I said so. I'm not the most popular Nigerian in town. Trust me. And I'm okay with it. I actually have very few Nigerian friends. And that's because anybody that speaks the truth becomes the winch in the Nigerian community. It's really sad that a lot of us don't have integrity. A lot of us do not have integrity. Oh yeah, well, I'm not saying you're lying. I mean, I can't say we all because, actually we all, because I remember going to the Nigerian embassy to change my passport one time, and a friend of mine called me and said, oh, I have somebody that's there, the lady that stamps the thing. And you don't have to wait for 6 hours like everybody else. All you have to do is put $100 or whatever into an envelope. I actually put $200. That was about 7 years ago. I put $200 in the envelope, went into the building, called her from downstairs, and boom. I was in and out of there in less than an hour. People that I met there were there allegedly for 6 hours after me. Some people didn't even get their passport that day. So yeah, it's an evolution. That's why I said all Nigerians, when I speak, I speak we. Because I was raised with the proper information, but then I did not see it. Because like I said, I got my driver's license. I was 12 years old. A phone call was made. They brought it to the house. That was my birthday present. Go figure. I love our country. Some days I miss Nigeria because for the same reason I lose it, some days I miss it. And that shows you that you have to be conscious every moment of your day. when you're talking about living a life of integrity, it's not easy. It's very painful. You will become public enemy number one. People actually call me the moral police. In the LGBTQ community, it's hilarious. They call me the moral police. And it's not about me being a moral police. It's about standing for what I believe in. I mean, I found my wife and I came together with me doing what I'm doing without showing all my bazookas, you know? So if that's the way, and then people complain they're not able to get the right partner, but how are you going to get a right partner? You're just gonna, if you're flaunting everything for the whole world to see, you're only going to get a partner that wants to do the jiggy jiggy and leave you to the curbside, or want you for their side chick or side guy. Nobody with integrity is going to dance, jump up and down with you while you're naked on social media, or while you're running around and advertising your T&A. It just doesn't happen. Simple things like that. But again, I personally, for me, it was a journey to get here. Because being Nigerian, we all know that we're used to shortcuts. We all know that it takes work, and we all must continue to do the work. If I wanted to get 100,000 followers right now, all I have to do is put it out there that I'm giving 10,000. If I take $500 and break it up into Nigerian currency and start shouting, oh, I'm doing a giveaway, I'm doing a giveaway, I'm doing a giveaway, and give 5,000. Half the people that do giveaways, they're not even doing it with their own money. They're giving away other people's money. I know, because part of my money is being part of that shit. But half of them get followers and stuff. I'm not buying anybody's vote. Integrity. I'm not buying your like. I'm not buying your friendship. I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying your apology either. Integrity. And people don't get it. A lot of people are like, oh my God, she's such a snob. No, I'm not a snob. When you decide to walk a particular walk, you have to follow through. And being able to follow through includes thank you, Jerry, for clarifying that. I'm telling you, I'm guilty. I mean, that's why I had to remember I paid to get in faster than I should have been at the Nigerian embassy many years ago, but I don't do that anymore. I don't. They now have agencies and stuff that do that are owned by Chinese people. Yeah. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, we have to check ourselves, because if we don't check ourselves, nothing's going to happen. Femi Babalola, thank you again for your comment, says, what are the political problems in Nigeria? Bribery, cronyism, economics of corruption, electoral fraud, influence peddling. Whoa, Bobo. Who are the people doing this? Who, Femi? It's the same, it's people. They can't get away with these things if we don't allow it. Who are they bribing? They're bribing people. They're not bribing buildings. You know, economics of corruption, electoral fraud. Who's doing all of this? People. If people that are working in the electoral, department stand up and speak up, we won't have these issues. The last election, we saw videos of ballots being burnt. We saw people being beaten so that they won't go out and vote. We saw people being burnt. I had videos. I just don't post gruesome stuff. I got videos. I got people calling me. I had people calling me from polling booths, sending me videos of area boys just coming into the place and grabbing the stuff and throwing them in cars and driving off. I saw videos. I still have them in my phone. Videos of people at polling booths, Femi, with kerosene, setting fire to this stuff. I have videos of it. But who are the people? When we talk, we keep pointing fingers. These are human beings, not buildings. See, if the area boys had integrity, they wouldn't do what they do. If the people in the offices had integrity, they wouldn't allow a lot of the stuff that happens to happen. If you, Mr. Femi, I don't know about your integrity, so let me rephrase that. If you, Mr. Femi, had a voice, right? And you used your voice to say exactly what you're saying here, exactly to your people, and you treat your people right, you pay the employees the right money, it will decrease. See, when we're talking about integrity, we point fingers. But when you hire a houseboy and you pay the houseboy 5,000 naira a month, not you, Femi, but when you pay the houseboy 5 naira a month, then you're wondering why the houseboy is stealing or taking money from the thief that's going to rob you, right? When you treat people right, there's a 50-50 chance that they'll treat you right as well. And I always say 50-50 chance because I know better now. Not the people that you help are going to come and help you. But if you treat people right, maybe the next person will treat the next person right. Maybe they will go out and filter it into the universe. My wife always says you can't boil the ocean, but you can boil the ocean one cup at a time, which means I am nice and kind to Femi. I am nice and kind to Femi. Femi turns around because I was nice to him and I gave him a taste of what it feels like to be treated like a human being. Femi turns around and is now nice and kind to Olu. Right? So now Olu's running a business and Olu is doing something that I want to do, and I pick up the phone and call Olu and say, hey, Olu, by the way, you see that t-shirt or whatever business that you're doing, I really kind of like it. Yeah. I'll tell you a story about integrity again. I really kind of like it. How about you teach me how to do it, as long as we're not in the same marketplace and I'm not asking her for a business plan, and hopefully Olu teaches me. That's what it's called, apprenticeship, right? Or mentorship, right? So then hopefully she teaches me, and then I go around and I become successful and I teach somebody else. It's called mentorship. But in Nigeria, we expect people to pay us to be their mentor. Somebody is interning in my shop. I had a young kid that I wanted to become a designer because I figure he's so fabulous like that, and he was talented, yeah? So I'm looking for a place for him to intern and stuff, and they were quoting me 250,000, 100,000. I'm like, wait, the kid is coming to your shop to work for you for free, like an omodo. And he still has to pay you. That's part of the problem. In America, when a child or a person is interning, they're giving you their time in exchange for your knowledge. But you expect somebody to pay you to be your intern. How do you think you'll get the loyalty? It's not possible. So the small things, before you even start talking about the government, and Femi, I hope you'll come on the show on Friday. Shino, I hope you'll come on the show on Friday. I'll inbox you guys and I'll get proper times, because I think it cannot just be Moji's voice that's out there in the wilderness just talking. We need you guys that are vested in the community as well. We need you guys that have a voice. We need you guys to start speaking the truth. Not that you don't, but we need you to, honestly, these young kids, majority of Nigerians are below 40. The last time I checked, they said 60% of Nigerians are below 40. 60%. And half of those 60% are jobless. And we're wondering where there's so much crime. We're wondering where there's so much. What kind of a generation are we going to leave behind when we are gone? I'm 55. None of my kids will ever live in Nigeria. And I sit here and donate my time every week, at least 4 hours of my life, to creating a movement of being socially conscious for free. So I need you guys to, please, I will inbox you. We need to sit here. You guys that know a lot more about Nigerians need to join this movement of becoming socially conscious. Because if we're not socially conscious as Nigerians, if we don't fix our moral compass, I don't see how we'll survive. With this coronavirus thing, people are going to parties, they're going to this, they're going to that. They're walking around without masks like nothing is going to happen to them. Integrity again. Integrity is what knits a people together. Integrity is what clothes a people. When we lack integrity, something as small as stealing the name of my show, I'm so upset about that. But I'm really not, because I already knew Nigerians. I say it all the time on my show. I'm like, I expect nothing from Nigerians. So because I stopped expecting, I don't get disappointed. I get annoyed and irritated, but I don't get disappointed because most of us we don't have a moral compass. Most people want what you want. They don't want to work for it. That's why Nigeria is the way it is. That's why the government, somebody will get into office and they'll give him 50 billion to fix coronavirus, to help with the issue. And they will take 1 billion and give it to what's that thing called? An event planner that's married to one of the most popular pastors in Nigeria to go and decorate. We don't have PPEs. We don't have nothing. The surgicals, nothing. No electric, nothing in hospitals in Nigeria. But you are giving 1 billion naira to a woman that's an event planner to go and decorate tents. Not even buildings that could be converted into hospitals, modern day hospitals later. Tents. I tire. It starts from us. It starts from you. It starts from me. See how I told the story about me going and paying $200 to get my passport issued faster? That was about 10 years ago, right? And once I started that, I realized what I did. I stopped doing it. We all have to stop doing the little that we do. Convenience. I'll pay a little bit so I can get in front of the line. Or, how's your day? Slap them with 500 naira. Run the light. Not worrying if you run the light if you're going to kill somebody else. And when you get stopped, you just bribe them. Instead of doing the right thing, we continue to take shortcuts. But problem with shortcuts is that it doesn't lead anywhere. It leads to a dead end. Right now, the generation's future has been mortgaged to China and whoever else can give this current government money. I read a lot. I research a lot, and I get a lot of information from all over the place. Before I put anything out there, I have verified it. Sometimes, very rarely, but I'm wrong sometimes, yeah. But 95% of the time, I'm usually right. I ask you guys to do your own research. Go to the University of YouTube and do some homework. Ask the question, how important is integrity in life? You will definitely get the information. Ask yourself, how important is integrity? Integrity is the air that we breathe as human beings. It's not easy. It's not going to be popular. You standing up and saying, don't bribe, don't accept bribes, you won't be popular. People will hate you, but it's okay because you'll sleep better at night. And let me tell you a secret. When you're doing the right thing, the universe blesses you. No matter, and I don't care if you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or whatever, we all serve the same God. It's different paths. And even if you're an atheist, because I find in my lifetime that atheists are at the utmost people that have compassion, integrity, and their moral compass is never actually broken because they believe in karma. Karma is believing that what you put out is what you get, not what you don't put out. People don't want to work anymore for money. They're in people's inboxes begging. People will beg you for money so they can go bury a father that they have not spoken to in 10 years. They have not given dime to, but they have to look good when the father has died. That's lack of integrity. People will come to you and tell you that I'm going to my village. You live in a studio apartment in America. You're on welfare, he fear and she fear. But when you're going to your village, you try and 419 everybody around you so you can collect money to go look like a rock star. Integrity. Problem with people is that a lot of us, when we don't have integrity, we don't get to live our authentic lives. What do I mean by that? When you're living a fake life, you cannot get what the universe created for you. When you're not your authentic life, you make shortcuts. When you don't love yourself is when you settle for less. Because you think, oh, if I get up today and I steal Moji's show's name, I will attract more people. Problem is, you don't have the same, you're not me. You should do a show, but do the show with your own authentic name. Authenticity is what I preach. Everybody should have a show because we all have different audiences. We all have different ways of communicating. Everybody's not going to receive my style because I'm very assertive. Some people want you to talk like this, like, hi, how are you? That's not me. I'm energy. I'm full of energy every day because I meditate, I pray, I exercise. And I finally know who the hell I am. So hello, I'm shouting it from the rooftop. But like a lioness that struts through the jungle. Struts like, and they do it without worrying about the hyenas running around because they know who they are and they know their power and their worth. And each and every one of us should be on that mission to become our authentic selves, to respect ourselves, to love ourselves, to honor ourselves, and then we'll be able to honor others. We'll be able to understand that taking 1 billion out of a loot of 50 billion and dashing it to the wife of the pastor to go and pretty up tents is not the way to go. Because when you love yourself, you think about the next man. When you love yourself, you worry about the next man that doesn't have anything to eat. When you love yourself, it becomes so much easier to love others. But without integrity, you can't love yourself because then you can't look at yourself in the mirror like I did for many years. I'm sorry, I couldn't. But the truth of the matter is that until we Nigerians get hold of our integrity and where we're going, I'm sorry, Nigeria is not going to change, because Nigeria is not the buildings. It's not the government. It's not the roads. It's not the houses. It's not SARS. It's not MOPO. It's us. You and I. It's you and I that will make that change. And that change starts with me today. Should start with you today. We cannot boil the ocean, like my wife says. We can boil the ocean one cup at a time. Hopefully Friday, by the way, Femi joins me and Shino joins me, and I'll try and bring a whole bunch of other people together. And we have to start to have authentic conversations. Enough of this rock star and gossip and all that stuff that draws a crowd. Even if it's 5 of us that sit together and we have conversations with each other, trust me, Nigeria will change. Might take a while. But if we continue to spread this gospel of integrity and authentic transformation, maybe in 5, maybe 10, we'll start to see a change. It's sad that I, Moji, am in exile. I had so much hope to go to Nigeria and help them to rebuild the country. But because you guys allowed the government to make me a criminal with the LGBTQ law that they put into place, putting us in jail for 14 years, even though majority of Nigerians don't believe that law is right. But because a lot of people did not have the integrity to stand up, a lot of LGBTQ people, like my wife, who's a phenomenal doctor, and a lot of people that I know, Jide Bademosi, and a whole bunch of people out there that are LGBTQ that could be doing amazing things for the country, we're out here. A lot of doctors left Nigeria because of lack of integrity in the country, in the people. So it's up to you and I. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, you live in America, what can you do? Yes, I can do a lot. I can do a lot by the way I represent Nigeria. I can do a lot by the things that I say and the way I interact with people as a Nigerian. If I interact with a Black American or a white American as a Nigerian person with integrity, maybe they'll start to give us all a second chance, a third or fourth or fifth. Because the narrative out there is not pretty. The narrative out there, we all can change. And until we do that, and by the way, I mentioned somebody's wrong name, just so you know. Kenny Bademosi is who I'm saying. I beg your pardon. Kenny Bademosi. Kenny. He's a very good friend of mine. I called him my big brother, even though he's older than me. Kenny Bademosi is on my page. He ran a marketing company in Nigeria, a big one, and he left it all behind. So there's a lot of people out here that are looking to do good things, but we need you guys to join this movement. And has nothing to do with your color, your tribe. Integrity has nothing to do with the tribes. Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Efik, we're all the same people. Integrity is integrity all across the board, all over the world. So if we all start preaching integrity and we start walking in integrity, guess what? Nigeria will start to change. My name is Moji Solo Wilson. If you heard anything on this video that you like, do me a favor and share the video. Share the video, follow the page. Friday, I'm going to try and bring a couple more people together so we can talk about integrity and morality in Nigeria and how we can take it one person at a time. Again, I thank you.